Hello, nice to see you. This is Water Wang from China. So today I will take the chance to introduce something about the ESD and the static. I think if you are already working in the field, like the electronic field or the semiconductor field, uh, you already know something about the ESD prevention because that is mandatory to be used in these fields. I will introduce some ESD mat today. So you can see now that I have two ESD mats in my hands. Okay. I will try I will try to introduce the difference later on for these two types of ESD mat. So normally we know that ESD damage to the electronic components or the PCBA. And the principle of the ESD damage is because that ESD discharge. So when there's one stuff which accumulate a lot of electrons on the stuff, for example, the clothes, and when another stuff is close to my clothes, for example, now they have a chance to flow from one stuff to another stuff immediately. And because the time of the discharge is very short, so the power is very high. Normally, the ESD discharge, the power can be some k volts with a very short time. So that's the principle of the ESD damage. And for if so actually you can see that there are some factors why the ESD damage happened. That it have a lot of electrons on surface of the stuff, and it have another contact that it can have a pathway that the electrons go through, and the speed is very fast. So for with the three factors, it can have the ESD damage. And it will be very serious. It damages the electronic field if we did not really prevent this damage. I think it's a long story that how it make the damage to the components already. And for the normal people, if we did not really do the electronic field, so in the winter time, because the humidity is low, so the electron will be easier to accumulate on the stuff like any stuff which is insulation. So if we touch it, it will immediately discharge to you and make the shock, which is very impressive. And how to prevent the ESD damage? So this is why that as we just mentioned that there are three factors. So we need to think about to remove the three factors of the ESD mechanism so that we can avoid the ESD damage to our components and finally our products. Okay, so this is a kind of ESD mat. Let me introduce the ESD mat here. So you can see there are two sides of the ESD mat. The top one is, we call top one is green. But actually you can also have some color to pick, like the blue one or else. And the bottom one is a black. Most are black color for the bottom one. This side we call the depassive layer. So the resistance below 10 to 12 ohm, we call it insulation. We call it insulation layers, which means that electron can flow through this kind of stuff. And for the depassive layer, we have a barrier controlled resistance which is between 10 to 6 to 10 to 9 ohm. Depassive layer, the purpose of this is that it has the resistance, so it can flow the electron away from the surface to another side, so that the electron will not accumulate on the top of the surface. And the other side is the bottom side, we call it the conductive side. So it's actually made of carbon. Yeah. So the resistance of the conductive side normally the range is from 10 to 3 to 10 to 5 ohm. Okay, so the purpose of the conductive side is that it will further flow the electron to other side, for example, to the ground. So the whole overview of this ESD mat is that when there is an electron generated on the top of the ESD mat, so the ESD mat will flow the electron slowly to the bottom side of the carbon side. Yeah, so this is the conductive side. Then it connect to the ground. So it will, from the top depassive layer, it will flow slowly, but from the conductive side, the carbon side, it will flow very fast to the ground. Okay. So you see that there are two types of ESD mat. If you did not already go into this field, you don't know the differences of this one. But actually, yeah, in general, there are two types of ESD mat. So this is made of PVC. Normally we call it the polyvinyl chloride. Why the PVC or vinyl can have the functionality to remove the electron because of the anti-static agent was added into the vinyl when they do the manufacturing. So that's why the PVC can have the functionality of the anti-static. This one is another type of ESD mat. It's made of rubber. Yeah, rubber. So normally we call it the nitro rubber. The mechanism of this ESD mat is a bit different from the PVC one because the molecular of nitro rubber has the carbon chain, and the carbon chain can storage a certain amount of the electrons. So when the electron generated on top of the surface, the nature of the rubber, nitro rubber, will introduce the electron inside, and then go to the bottom side. It's also the carbon layer, and then finally connect to the ground. So the main difference is between the PVC ESD mat and the rubber ESD mat is that PVC is that the one that we added the anti-static agent, while this rubber one used the nature or the feature of the rubber, which have the anti-static itself. Okay, now how to pick this kind of ESD mat? What's the differences between them? So actually, both are official ESD mat we can use, but for some specific scenarios, we can try to pick some different ones. So I would say that for the differences, for PVC, it's cheaper than the rubber one. Rubber one is expensive. But ESD, rubber ESD, because can resist high temperature, so it can resist high temperature. So for the soldering station, which you need to use a hot gun or the solder iron, you'd better to choose this rubber one. Yeah, and also the cost of the PVC is cheaper than the rubber one. And for the knife span, I would say that for the rubber one, it will be because of the later, so it will be longer than the PVC one. PVC one is the one added with the anti-static agent, and the rubber one is because of the later. So the lifespan of this one, it will keep the functionality longer for the rubber one. In general, how to pick the ESD mat? I would say for the normal operation, like that you put the ESD mat on the top of the top of the table. If it's not used for the workstation, if not work for the soldering or hot gun, you can just pick the PVC one, which will have the less cost. While for the workstation, and it need to resist the high temperature, so the rubber one was suggested to use. And also, by the way, if you use the rubber one, if you smell this close to your mouth, nose, you will see that typical rubber smell. While for the PVC, yeah, you almost cannot see smell anything. So you need to be known. You need to know that for the rubber one, there will be some smells if you use it in the manufacturing. Okay.